Peace. Islam. Coming at you live from Moors in America. We cover issues pertinent to Moorish Americans from our perspective. Something that's very rare that you're not really going to see anywhere else. And I'm just coming at you to share a quick video from the brother Matheno, Matthews L. He wrote a book which I recommend right here, right? Moorish America's Archival, Palladium. You can get the link in the description. Definitely check that out. Try to maintain some integrity and only recommend books that I've actually written or information that I actually think is helpful. That's why I advise everybody to actually get a copy of the the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, otherwise known as the Circle 7 Quran. Always advise everybody to get the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and also the one-on-ones, right? Or the Quran questions. So definitely check this video out, because this brother's been in the Moorish Divine and National Movement for decades. Okay, so a lot of wisdom in there, and it's always a pleasure when someone with that much experience and wisdom is willing and open enough to share with us. Okay, so I'm just saying this just to put things in the proper perspective. Okay, so when the brother's speaking, listen. And even if you don't agree with the information, just take it in stride and maybe even self-examine yourself, because some of us have been dealing with information that's faulty, that's not exactly what you think it is. Okay, and there's even people out here who are very well respected, who've been teaching information and putting information out there that's not actually in alignment with the Moorish Divine and National Movement as brought forth by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So once again, every Moor should get a copy of that book, and every Moor should watch this video and share. And if you go back and peruse through here, there's other videos too by the same brother, Matthew Zell. So go back, check those out too. Plenty of wisdom in it. And I'd say check every last one of them out. Click like and share. Just spread it, okay? Because it's time. The Moors are waking up, and you need to know the foundation. You need to know what is really real. So I think it's very important. And that's why I'm here, and that's why this brother's here and sharing with us. And that's why I'm saying, don't just watch this, also share it, because it's not good enough just for a handful of us to know. We all need to know this information and share it and live on it. Okay, stand on it. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So make sure you watch this and share. Peace.
Islam, all creatures think, and thought is the lifeblood of every living thing. Islam, thought is the lifeblood of man who's made of spirit. Man is a spirit and a part of Allah. Thought is his lifeblood. Islam, he manifests his or her thoughts. Their life is a manifest of their thoughts, or their most dominant thoughts. Islam. So the Prophet says he creates a whole different paradigm, or renews a paradigm that we have to step into. It's based on what we think. We are changing our minds, Islam, about what we think. Just to deal with, I think, what would be a synonym, which is basically, if I'm not mistaken, a word that can replace another word and yet retain the basic meaning. Islam. So we go from thought, we go to the light. Because the Prophet said, I come to bring you out of the darkness of the things that you thought and were thinking, into the marvelous light, Islam, of what you truly are. If you thought you was Negro, if you thought you was black, if you thought you was inferior, if you thought you were all these things that were pressed into you, you were in darkness. Islam. But the light is what you know to be true and what the actual truth is. It changes everything. If you or your ancestors were not just the builders of civilization from the beginning, but if they had a great world civilization before you were enslaved, If that's the truth, that should change everything that you think, because there are some people that are just sitting on a throne of lies. It's not true. But what the truth is, Islam, the Prophet came to change our thinking by bringing us into the light of reality, bringing us into the light of the truth. This is what's true. Islam, you're not Negroes. You're not slaves. You're not inferior. You're not ignorant. You're not dumb. You're not lazy. Islam, and proved it. When you deal with thought, you're dealing with light, insight, awareness, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Islam, that's all we're doing. We're changing our minds and thinking according to what's true. Another word synonymous with light is white. And I thought, if you go to your questionnaire, because I thought decades ago, okay, of course, when we first started studying the questionnaire, and it says, what does the word white mean? It says white means purity, purity means God, and God means ruler of the land, Islam. So of course, I'm right, just practically a step away from the unconscious state of mind, the thinking black and all of that. And I'm thinking, well, if white means, well, they call themselves white. Well, he wasn't talking about people. He was talking about light. Because the light is what rules the land. When light shines in the darkness, darkness flees. Islam, this changes everything. Look at your Holy Quran of the Moorish of America. What color is that? White. Look inside. Look at your prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the prophet founder of the Moorish of America, standing there. He should be standing between two seals. If you don't have two seals, you got a problem. But what is he clothed in? He's clothed in white. He's clothed in light. Islam? All of that is synonymous, sending us the same message. The same message. Every people, to my knowledge, and studying of history for thousands of years or whatever, studying back, I would, every civilization that rose to the top did so first and foremost because they thought they could. Islam, they thought they could, and therefore they did. I remember, it wasn't pleasant, but I'm thankful for being around long enough to have seen a lot transpire. I remember back in the 60s and the 70s when they had images and portrayals of Asian people on television. They were always portrayed as morons or buffoons for the most part, to a certain degree. Okay? And that part of the world, when you talk of China, the Pacific Rim countries, Taiwan, Japan, all of that, well, they were practically 200 years behind the Western world at that time. It seemed like it, They were completely, almost totally undeveloped. But they began to focus on obtaining knowledge. They began to, make it mandatory for children to be knowledgeable, to learn, and to excel. And now when you look at most of your electronic goods, our computers, our phones, devices, and everything, where they come from? Where were they made at? You can't be a moron and make that. You can't be a moron to make that. But my point is, China is now competing with the United States and India to be the world's largest economy. And for years, I watched this. I watched people come from different countries in the East, come here, go to college, get how many degrees they wanted, maybe some experience, and go back to their country. So the prophet came and brought us the light. In fact, the thoughts and the images, the word, everything contains light. They say information is power. So I give a shout out to everybody that we do our part and try to be obedient and learn what the prophet has instructed. He established it says that the movement was well planned. by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose powers are latent and abundant. It was well planned, Moors. Well planned. If we just get our focus, off of what other people are doing and just try to focus on what the prophet brought us, we'll see an amazing change. It's making a difference already, Moors. It's making a big difference. Islam, that's why the sages said that the greatest need in the world was light, an increase in light, an increase in understanding, an increase in the ability to comprehend and to perceive. Islam, the prophet came to bring us out of darkness into the marvelous light. And why it's so marvelous is because he said, from the east comes all light. Islam, then he said the light from the east is now in the west. And he came to manifest that light primarily to us, but because he's a universal prophet to all men. That's why he said every man and woman of every time and clime. Islam, your Parsi said that which maketh manifest is light. So you can have light manifest in so many different forms. What you have visual light that makes things perceptible to the human eye. You have spiritual light that makes things perceptible rather to the spiritual eye. Islam, you can have philosophical light, intellectual light, scholastic light. Islam, whatever makes it manifest is light. Your records from Prophet Drew Ali is nothing but light. Nothing but light. Your Holy Quran, Surah 7, is a book of light, just chock full of keys. What do keys do? Keys open doors. I was thinking about this. You could take your questionnaire. Let's say, number one, who made you? Allah. You could take that question and develop other questions from that question. Just begin to sit down. How did he make me? And I can tell you that in the record it says, fearfully and wonderfully art thy made. Praise therefore thy creator with awe and rejoice before him with reverence. That's why it's so important for us. And this is why I don't attack other people's religion per se. This is why. Because light has to be put in some container, so to speak. Something has to express it. Something has to make it manifest. That's why symbolism is so important, rather, in understanding symbolism, because it contains information, or it contains light, or it contains know-how, so on and so forth. Every religion is basically the garments that the truth wears. Islam, and we have to see beyond the esoteric in order to receive the light. Islam, this is why it's so important. For the Prophet said, know thyself and Allah. You have to know that it's real in whatever way it is perceptible or comprehensible or understood according to your measure. You have to know that. You have to know that. The devil says there is no God. The devil says he's God. And then the Parsi record said he was a liar from the beginning. That's what Jesus says in there. He's lying. He's lying. And when you ask him to prove it, he can't do it. But if you ask Allah to prove it, he can do it and he will do it. And like I said, this is why I don't go for the attack religion game. I've been there at that level where you're attacking everybody else's religion and not practicing your own. We have to know, because once you know your Father God Allah, then we know what to do with the light when he gives it to us. Excuse me. The gifts of the understanding. That's why it's the treasure of Allah. He's giving you treasure. When he blesses you, matter of fact, let me just say this. You remember the drawings or the cartoons when someone is thinking, they have a little circle up there or cloud or whatever, and inside of that is shown or written what they are thinking? Remember the one when the person understands and it shows a light bulb? Bing! You can actually experience that happen. I'm sure everybody pretty much has experienced that occurring when you like, oh yeah, okay, now I got it. So he wants us to increase in light. Here's another thing. Light produces more light. Islam, it produces more. It doesn't, degrade. It produces more. This is why he said when men will see the light and walk, see, first they'll be able to know that it's real. They'll see that it's real. They'll understand there's something there. Islam, they'll see it. Then they'll go to it. Then they'll walk in it. They'll try to demonstrate it. And as a result, they will become the light that they are. What is God? What does it say God? Allah. What is it? He's light. The record said he is light. And in him is no darkness at all. He's perfect truth. Perfect truth. I don't think we can even wrap our minds around that. Islam, he's perfect truth. He is light. This is why, again, the record says that the sun is not Allah. You remember people were sun worshippers, or they used the sun to be symbolic of light, of insight, of awareness, so on and so forth. But the record said that the sun is not Allah, though his noblest image. If there is anything that could symbolize or express what Allah is, it would be that, light. So, coming back full circle. That's why it's so important for us, excuse me, to study the prophet's law. I'm going to tell you what, I give him the same honor that I give all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, and Muhammad. I give him the honor and more that we give to great leaders that have assisted in the uplifting of fallen humanity in some way, shape, or form. The same distinction and the same separate honor that I give to Brother Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or Elijah Muhammad or Marcus Garvey, I give that to Prophet Drew Ali. He stands alone. And this is why we don't want to mix stuff with something that he didn't bring. That's not not documented record. I know you love the quotes, but we can't use those. Those are not record. We got to take the prophet's law, what he left. It will work. You think, like I said before, you can read everything the prophet's name is on in a couple of hours. But to study it, it'll take a lifetime. I'm telling you, I've been on this thing for a while. Over 40-some years of studying and I keep learning something. Like I said, it's a book of keys. You ever seen a janitor or someone with all of those different keys? And they got to know what key opens what lock or what door. This is what the prophet brought us. We got so many. He said we got so many. Like I said, I think it'll take a lifetime. And different people will be able to use different keys that the prophet brought. Islam, just open up one more key. Open this key up. Thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. This instructs us that the primary reason for study is to grow in our ability to think. Thought can do some amazing things. Islam? So as our thought life grows and expands, our latent potentials come out and they begin to operate, and you can see it. Thought can see. Islam? Thought can see perceptively. Thought can see visually. Islam? Thought can see intellectually. Thought, Islam, can see what's working in the darkness. That's why when it talks about the person who's insincere, that they may be working in the dark as a mole and fancies he is safe, but he blundereth into what? Light. Islam? And I'll just say this, Islam. Thank God for the internet. Because see, what was going on in the dark has now come to light. In the 60s, when the civil rights movement and the black revolution and all that was going on, well, it was producing light because a lot of it was exposing what was being done to our people. all over the country, all day, every day. But the rest of the world was not aware of it. They were being told, oh, those people are savages. They're from the jungle, and you got to beat them down and keep them down, all this kind of stuff. But the media from around the world, and I remember seeing this, from around the world came here. At that time, we only had what? The radio, newspaper, television. But they began to record and document what was going on and then put that information around the world. And that was one of the causes for change, because it was embarrassing to the people here, because all Europeans are not racist. Let's kill that. It embarrassed the people that believed in America and believed in the highest ideas of America, believed in the great values of America, believed in the greater potential of America. Islam knew the truth. Islam knew the truth. Now we have the same thing. Same thing. So now it's become difficult, if not impossible, for people, that work in the area of human rights in this country to go anywhere in the world and tell anybody anything. Because they're looking at the massive continuing violations of people's human rights. Every day, all day. We're not the only ones that see what goes on in this country. Not no more. It used to be isolated. But now light has come. Islam. And what was obscure is known worldwide. All we got to do, Moors, is walk in the light that the Prophet brought us. It'll work.